Hello guys, and welcome to my new video. Today we have another interview with Wouter. Wouter is a Dutch polyglot and he speaks 20 plus languages. In this video, we're going to be speaking in English and he's going to give you tips on how you can improve your English. If you like this interview, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And now let's start. So hello Wouter and welcome to my channel. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm totally fine. Just it's a bit rainy weather here in the Netherlands, but everything is fine. So first of all, thanks for having me on, and yeah, for this nice interview. I mean, I'm curious what you're going to ask.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting interview because my audience will really appreciate knowing all of those cool facts about you being a polyglot and knowing so many languages. We could start our interview, and obviously my first question is going to be, how many languages can you speak? How many languages do you know?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, because before you said like knowing many languages, but in my opinion, there's a difference between knowing and speaking. So I think I don't know 29 languages, but I speak 29 languages at all different levels. And the reason why I'm saying that I'm not knowing the language is because I get more feedback. So when I make videos in Russian, I make a lot of mistakes in the cases. So cases are tough in Russian. Yeah, they're definitely tough.
It's very interesting how you said that you like to be honest with other people and tell them up front that, yeah, like I'm not fluent in every single language I learn, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like I can even tell, like I speak like English, and well, English is fluent for sure, I think. You know, like even people are telling me like a Dutch accent, but still I think it's fluent. It's not C2. Yeah. Let's say your English is C2, my English might be C1. I think so, because I can talk about any topic. I do have a foreign accent. I get judged a lot about my Dutch accent when I speak English, but I can talk about any topic comfortably. So that's why I think I have C1 level. Then I do think that I think I probably have like a B2 level in Spanish, German, French, and Portuguese. Like let's say the upper intermediate level, you know. But some people call that fluent as well, like basic fluent. Some people don't call it fluent. So I would say I'm not fluent in these 4 languages, just to be on the safe side. Like, so English and Dutch are fluent for sure. The other 4 languages are at a high level because I can still talk about any topic in Spanish, French, German, Portuguese. So, but anyway, it is not a contest. I don't create videos to show off. Yeah. I basically try to get out of my comfort zone. So that's what I'm doing. And I also like to give a portion of entertainment, I guess.
About all the languages you speak, which language is your favorite?
I think we can compare it with music. Like sometimes I'm more in the mood of listening to hard rock, sometimes more classic music. It's same with a language. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, yo, I want to speak Chinese today. Sometimes I want to speak Russian. It really depends on my mood. That's also why I learned several languages. Also one of the reasons why I didn't want to focus on one language, because I like variation. I the same with everything, also with food. One day I want pizza, one day I want Thai food.
I definitely get you. Yeah. Sometimes you get this motivation to speak one language and you have this urge, actually, it's not about motivation, this urge to speak Chinese, for example, right? And you feel like, okay, today is the day when I'm gonna practice Chinese. Today is the day when I'm gonna speak English, for example. When did you first discover this passion towards languages? How old were you?
I think I was like 12 years old. Maybe 10 years old. I was on holiday with my parents, and I was ordering my own food in French. I asked my parents like, hey, how do you say this in French? And I already liked that contact with people. I know that at that age, but I wasn't focused on languages. You don't have these plans as a kid. I was always into art, so I basically studied illustration at the Art Academy since I was 18 years old, and like I did it for 4 years, and basically I was, focusing on art so much, so I didn't have the time to focus on languages or anything. But when I was 23 years old, that language feeling came back again, and I started learning Chinese. Then it's crazy. Like I was 2 years older than you. Like how you're 21 right now. I was 23. It sounds like a long time ago. I sound like a granny. But anyway, at that time I was, it feels like I'm an old man telling whatever stories, Like, yeah. But at that time I was learning languages, So, and later I was making a video of that. And that's what I really like about YouTube. You can make a video and you can show your levels, you can get feedback from people. You can meet a lot of new people, which is also cool.
You were never really scared to approach new people and speak to them in a foreign language. When I was younger, I was really scared to talk to native speakers in English because I thought they were judging me. I was also really afraid of, for example, maybe I made a mistake and they didn't understand me, right? So what would I say? What would I do? Did you have this feeling?
Like normally I'm not into sharing personal stuff or anything, but on the other hand, I just want to give an honest reply also because I want to motivate people, just show them as how it is, you know? So I want to be honest. Like actually I have been bullied for a long time. Until I was 18 years old, I've been bullied a lot. So that I was crazy inconfident basically, and I was really afraid to approach people, you know. So I never had that feeling of approaching people because I was afraid of the reaction. I was afraid to get an awkward reaction. So I was afraid. But since I was 23, when I studied to learn languages, you know, like on the streets, the languages were sort of like helping me to forget about my inconfidence, you know. So I'm still right now, I'm even a bit inconfident, but I don't think it's a bad thing or anything, you know. So we should also embrace our inconfidence sometimes because it helps you to understand how things are, you know. It's not an embarrassing thing, and it brings you close to people sometimes. So what I found out is that the languages were giving me a sort of like strength, which helped me to just approach people, to have fun, and it connected me to a lot of people. And based on like a lot of experience, and also because I make a lot of videos right now, it's going to be less awkward, but that's how I don't feel any fear because like the enthusiasm of speaking a foreign language is stronger. That's what I feel.
That's a very good story because for me, it's very similar. Like for me, a language is just a means of communicating with other people and being connected to them. And right now, like, okay, English it's a different story for me because I do have a pretty high level in English. But for example, when it comes to Chinese, I'm not advanced in Chinese, and like I start sweating when I speak Chinese because I'm too nervous. But still, for me, when I just talk to Chinese people and I see how excited they are to talk to me because I'm a foreigner and they want to learn more about me, about my culture, and yeah, it's amazing for me.
It should be a quote. Maybe it's already a quote, I don't know, but embrace your confidence, embrace your mistakes, and like things don't need to be perfect or something, you know. And that's also why I just want to tell about my past as how it is, because like some people might think like, whoa, this guy's is very confident, he's just talking to anyone, but it's not so easy, you know. Like I've also been whatever, you know, when I talk the language, people reacted awkwardly or they didn't want to speak anymore, and those feelings were getting back to the past, like, yo, am I not nice to them or anything? But I mean, these are just feelings everyone has, but a lot of people are not talking about that. But once we can embrace that, we can also just respect situations of how they are, and they're not perfect. And you're learning from mistakes. Yeah, I'm also telling the story because I don't want people to feel upset about learning a language and whatever. If someone is bullied or if someone has confidence issues, whatever, those are just feelings. And talking to someone and seeing a nice smile appearing on a face, it's a beautiful thing. When I speak Chinese, and recently I've been invited to an Indonesian family to eat Indonesian with them. So these are nice stories which you don't want to miss just because you are like admitting your inconfidence. Like, and that's a different thing, you know, admitting it. We should not admit it and basically see it as a sort of separate thing than like how other people are seeing us when we speak a language. Most people are happy or proud. They're thinking like, hey, she speaks my language, she is speaking Chinese, look at her. You know, that's cool.
Yeah, it's the price you pay for wanting to be connected with other people. And I think it's definitely like, it's worth it. Right now, speaking so many languages, what does your current language learning routine look like? Do you even have a language learning routine? Like, how do you practice all of those languages you speak?
It's hard sometimes because sometimes I wish I had that routine, right? So I try to have a schedule, like my schedule would be like 2 hours per day in the morning. Right now I'm focusing on Russian and Chinese mostly, so there would be like 1 hour Chinese, 1 hour Russian, but because I'm so busy with creating content and stuff like that, I cannot always follow that routine, you know. So
I'm sort of like putting that in a fridge. I'll get back to that because like creating content also has been a little bit difficult since Corona, since COVID. So I put a lot of effort in that, to still think about new concepts, new ideas. But let's say normally I have a routine of 2 hours in the morning, Russian and Chinese.
And each 3 months or 4 months, I select 2 languages which I want to improve. That's what I'm doing right now, Russian and Chinese. And then the other languages I am practicing maintaining them by replying messages. Then I also use another strategy like, I just call it the instrumental strategy. I think that makes sense. And that's that I use one of those 6 languages which I mentioned before, which are at my better level, I use them to study other languages. So for example, I have like, for example, a session about Greek
in Spanish.
Wow,
so
that's such a good strategy. Wow.
Yeah, a Spanish-speaking Greek native speaker. That's what it is. So she explains me everything about Greek in Spanish. That's how I learn 2 languages at the same time. I do the same thing with explaining things. So let's say I explain things about, let's say I explain you things about German in Russian. So I could use Russian to explain things about German. It's like the opposite strategy. So I use those techniques to be more efficient or something, and it also helps me to think differently and to unlock a sort of part in the brain that I'm able to think more in language naturally.
That's a great tip for my audience, I feel like, because I always tell my audience that obviously I don't speak as many languages, but I do a very similar thing when, for example, I want to learn something new. I don't know, anything really. And I research it in English, right? In Chinese, right? In Chinese is a little bit more difficult for me, but in English, for example, right? Instead of learning it in my native language, Russian, right? I Google everything in English I want to buy a new shampoo. I want to research the best shampoo. I don't know. I do it in English.
That's great indeed. We could do the same with study books. You could get a study book about, let's say, Russian, which is written in German, for example. Like if German is at least a B2 level, let's say that it's at least B2, then it could also help you to think more naturally in German, because you will see a lot of words which you can not understand, but because of the context you can understand them. So that's how you learn a lot of new words and how you can get, I think, from B2 to a higher level maybe. So I think those strategies are pretty nice. You could change your phone settings in the target language. You could follow the weather broadcast in another language, stuff like that. All those things which are in your daily life could help a lot to get used to a language, I think.
I think it's like a great tip for retention. It was actually also my question and you already answered it about like to actually remember all of the words, all the new vocabulary you learn, all the language like patterns and structures. It's really great when we just include a language in our everyday lives, right? We try to explain something in a foreign language, we try to research something in it. Do you feel like learning a language has changed you? For example, your thinking, your behavior?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like personally, I always think, like a sort of part always has been there, but it has been unlocked, basically.
Okay.
So I think it's already there. It's the same like we don't know ourselves, right?
Yeah.
If you're living on an island, you're also like, you're still the same person, but on an island. But you're going to have different habits, stuff like that, You're going to hunt, maybe you need to survive, right? I think it's the same with learning languages, like a lot of parts are unlocked, and I think life became more, I would say I'm never bored, so the most beautiful thing of language learning is I'm never bored. It's the opposite. I always wish I would have more time because I want to learn this language, I want to maintain that language. It's like you have to care about about 29 children, that's with the languages. You need to give them attention, otherwise, they will forget you, or in my case, I will forget those languages. So you have to maintain a lot, and that's the thing, it takes a lot of time. It's a tough sport, a tough brain sport, I would say, but I'm never bored. So that's the thing which has been changed a lot. I'm never bored.
The understanding level of other cultures, I think that's something which is helping me a lot, and being less afraid, So I learned a lot to not have any fear, or to have fear but maybe ignore the fear and just to go for it, just approach people, make mistakes. I think that's the biggest improvement, I would say.
Yeah. Do you think you have different personalities in different languages? I mean, obviously you stay the same, but sometimes like something changes when you speak a different language.
I think it's not a different personality. I think I'm having the same personality, but I'm sort of like editing my personality a little bit. It's like it's a Chinese version of myself, you know. It's like the Chinese version of my personality, like that, you know. So I'm still the same person, but under different circumstances and, you know, using different words. Because if I would be the exact same Wouter as in Dutch, I would have been a lot in trouble, I think, because like in the Netherlands we're pretty direct.
In China we have different habits, basically.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
So that's more the thing, you know. It's the same as when you're traveling. Are you a different person when you're traveling? No, I don't think so. But you're behaving a little bit different because you're a guest. So I behave like a guest when I speak Chinese. I behave like a guest. It's like I'm traveling with my brain. You know, that's how it is.
I guess you're trying to kind of discover these parts of yourself that are only present when you speak a foreign language, right? Because it's appropriate in this culture, right, to maybe be less direct, right? For example, in Chinese, you shouldn't be that direct than in Dutch, for example, right? You already speak so many languages. Do you have any plans of learning more foreign languages in the future?
That's a little bit like how I feel sometimes. It feels like I'm in a cake store and I want this cake, I want a slice of this cake, you know. I want to learn so many languages, you know. I love African languages, and that's also a little bit my problem. I'm a little bit like, but people are saying like, hey, when are you starting to study my language, you know? I'm a little bit like, oh, hey, cool, yeah, let's go for it. But then I just find out that it's so hard to maintain all the other languages. Since I'm improving my Russian, since I'm improving my Chinese, it also feels more relaxed when you can understand the grammar a bit better or the way of speaking, you know. I don't need to become fluent in Russian or Chinese, but if I could reach like a fair B1 level in both languages, for example, I would be very happy. And then I can use that instrumental strategy again. Then I can use Chinese to study Cantonese, whatever. So having sessions in Chinese about Cantonese, having sessions in Russian about Polish, you know, because then
I can also easily compare how those languages are related to each other. And by speaking them both at the same session, I can also distinguish them. I learn how to distinguish them. I would never do that when my Russian is like A1 or A2, like right now. Then you would just mix them up. But when it's B1 or better, then I can use them as an instrument. And that's each goal which I have per language. I want to get them to the B1 level so I can use them as an instrument. But I definitely also want to learn some African languages.
So I feel like when you were talking about all of this, I realized that there is this idiom in English, jack of all trades, master of none. And I feel like right now you don't want to be this person, right? You don't want to just speak so many languages, but don't really be confident in them, right? So you don't want to be this person who, you know, just picked up some of the phrases, some of the words, and can really make a sentence, you know, but you can add them to your collection of languages you can speak.
It's or this or that, you know, but I want to be somewhere in between there, you know. I don't want to become a master in these languages. I think that's impossible for me. I also don't want to learn some phrases, you know. So like, for example, even in Russian, I do make mistakes, but I'm still able to have at least like a decent basic conversation. And for that, I had to study 9 months Russian, you know, to be able to have this low level, which I have.
But everything takes time. It's an adventure. And when I make videos, I want to show that adventure. So that's also on purpose. I also show people when I speak a language at a low level because I want to show the entire adventure, you know?
Yeah.
Same
Yeah, the entire process. Yeah, from start to finish.
That I told I've been bullied and how I feel right now. People understand how I came here, right? And sometimes people are just seeing the beautiful things. That's what I want to, I want to show everything basically, you know, the entire process, the adventure, including the mistakes. Yeah. And basically, I could laugh about the older video when I spoke Russian at the A1 level, when it's at a better level, you know. But also for other people, I hope it gives them more inspiration and more motivation to also see that I also had to start there. You know, like
Yeah.
you're not suddenly a butterfly, right?
I think it's also good sometimes to show the weakness. There are people who are doing that though. I'm not judging or anything. There are enough people who are like actually there are many people, especially in the language learning community, who are showing their failures, their weaknesses, their problems, their issues. That's what I also love about the language community. I'm proud of this community because people are showing the process as how it is. And that's what I like, you know?
Sometimes when I make mistakes, I feel like when I was younger, I would get really hurt when other people would point out my mistakes and say that, you know, like, you made a mistake, this is not how you were supposed to say that. But now I'm actually so happy. Like, I realized that, yeah, I make mistakes and there is nothing wrong in that. Because this way, if somebody's gonna point them out, I'm gonna improve. Right? It's just a chance for me to improve, to get better, and maybe even show other people that perfection is not something we should strive for, because it's not the most important thing in our lives, being perfect.
It doesn't exist, and if people are perfect, I don't need to know them, basically, you know? So, yeah.
Because they're probably not perfect. They just think too much of themselves.
Well, I mean, it should not be the intention, I think, you know, like, come on, you know, as I said, we are beautiful as how we are with the mistakes, stuff like that. We should not worry too much.
To finish off our interview, I wanted to ask you this fun question, but I also feel like I already know what you're gonna say, but still. Do you think we should have one world language? For example, like Esperanto, you know, this like famous constructed language? Or you think it's better when people speak different languages?
I hope that all those languages are existing, all the lovely ones, even the rare languages, you know. I really hope they keep existing, you know, and we should not become lazy by learning one constructed language, because like I think putting a lot of effort is helping to maintain a relationship with a culture, you know. Like it's the same with if you have, you know, I have a girlfriend, you know, for example, you know, and if you would ask me like, hey, if you never would have to cook for me and never would have to do the dishes, if we would have
someone doing that for us, which would, you know, like when I would not have all these tasks anymore, would I do that? No. I still like to put effort in a relationship, you know. That's why
you like washing the dishes.
No, I didn't say that. Don't say that. Like if you're watching the video, I'm from. No, I mean more in general. I like to put effort in a relationship, and I think
we get it.
A relationship with a language, with a culture, or with a country is also related. And if we're becoming lazy by just having one language, we're losing everything, the connection with a culture, the history and stuff like that. So
yeah, definitely, I agree, because languages represent the culture. They are one of the most important parts of a culture, actually. So yeah, I think we can finish our interview for now. Thank you for talking to me. It was really nice talking to you about foreign languages, about your journey. I think my audience is going to feel really motivated because of you, because now they realize that everything is possible. You can learn a foreign language.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's indeed very cool.
And before we finish our interview, please tell my audience where they can find you, your YouTube channel, your Instagram, if you want to.
My channel name is Wouter Kordewijner. And also my Instagram name, that's my name. And I also want to tell the people that there's also like a part 2 on my channel. And I want to thank you, Veronica.
Guys, the interview with Wouter was so much fun. If you want to learn more about him and his YouTube channel, you can find all the links in the description. It was really fun talking to him and learning more about his language learning journey and sharing this journey with you. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram, because there I share my everyday life with you. If you want to get a script to this video, make sure to join me here on YouTube by clicking this join button, or you can also go on my Patreon page and pick a membership there. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time. Bye.